All right, so I'm bringing you a battle I just played on Italian Grassland here. I command the British army, and my opponent, who you'll see shortly, has the French. And there's a few things I kind of want to talk about in this. Number one is being active, having a plan, and number two, and these kind of go hand in hand, is concentrating your forces. So my plan for this battle was that I wanted to occupy this forest. See, it's a pretty simple plan. That was my primary plan. And everything else in my plan is, okay, here's my opponent's army. Everything else in my plan is in service to that. So let's go slow for a moment while I want to do some kind of preparatory talk. So here, that means I wanted to protect them from coming around this way and this way. So these hills are kind of adjacent to that plan, but they're not, like, occupying the hills isn't really my goal here. Just contest them enough to keep this forest safe. A lot of people go for the hills. I think the woods might actually be better in a lot of ways. So let's talk about a few things already. So he's brought like 18 units. Personally, so build-wise, I have brought like 4 cav, 2 of them heavy, 2 of them light, 5 lights, bunch of line, and the Black Watch Guard. He's brought 18 units total, I believe. So that's actually on this kind of map, like, less of a big deal than, say, on Grassy. But that means you especially have to concentrate your expensive units and get good use out of them, which I think you're going to see is not exactly what happens here. So already early on, okay, so I was talking about you want to have a plan, right? And here's kind of a picture of why. Let's look at big picture already. Here, I'm already in these woods. He's looks like he's going for the hill, but he's not quite there yet. And the thing is, like, because I knew, but from the beginning, my primary plan was to get into these woods. First thing I did is I had my unit selected, dragged him over here, run. Gets me that little bit of a head start, which is crucial on these like symmetrical maps like this. Okay, so yeah, we're moving up. He's moving up. And I know here, so I see he's moving a bit slow, so I'm even gonna, on this hill, kind of try to make at least a little mini play, keep his attention going, support this. Whereas here, I'm still mostly just gonna want to prevent him from advancing down here. And I'm keeping an eye on, he's got this old guard here. He's got another old guard here. I'm actually fine with it. I don't think this is a great spot for his old guard because, I mean, maybe he obviously doesn't know this, but this is where I'm putting my lights. Oh, and right, I'm not immediately having my lights in skirmish formation because they use up more, they get tired more quickly, I believe, doing that. Here again, like, even when so here, yeah, my goal is not just to take the woods, but get so close to the edge of it that he can't also get in the woods and contest them. Here, some of my line, I'm a little bit slow in getting them up. But that's okay, because his cav is pretty far back. Which, let's talk about, okay, here, look, he's got these chasseurs or cheval way back here. Why? What are they doing there? Got his hussars way back here, which lets me be a little bit more cautious. He's taking this building. What's that really doing for him? Here, and you hear that prepare for cavalry. That's because he's charging the Swift Regiment from way back here. Though you can see, man, my morale is already low. Like, if his cav had been, like, here, it'd be much more effective. He probably could have done a lot of damage. But instead, like, these foot are back, but they're not that far back. They're going to have time to get into a spot here, right? Here, he's definitely winning on this hill. Like, he's got the advantage here. He's got 4 units versus my 2. Got a third on the way. And he's also got these really expensive cav here. So what he needs to do is, he's got a concentration of forces here. He needs to attack hard. He needs to put his line somewhere like right here, his double line, and have his cav charge these guys, sweep this flank, and kick my ass. Okay. Here, you see I'm going to try to protect here a little bit with getting into the woods. And some interesting stuff happens here I'll make sure to cover. Yeah, you see these guys' morale is already way down. But one thing I do want to say, like, yeah, they're a bit too far ahead of my infantry, but he's doing the opposite. These guys are too close. Now, in this case, it's okay, because his infantry is firing too. But here I have, you know, 5 lights and a militia fighting against 3 lines and a light. I've actually got the advantage there. I don't think these light are able to fire from back there. Oh, they are. Okay. Well, they're not going to get great shots from back there. And here, like by now, these infantry are almost in place. My general, I've moved him in. See, the general, this kind of just goes to show, you saw how quickly they dropped in morale when the old guard was near, but they're fine now. And my plan was to get him much closer, but seeing the cav come in, I retreat him a bit. My guys are running away. I did a rally. I probably didn't need to. And here, these guys start shooting at his cav. And he does the right thing and withdraws there. But that's... So here, even still, he needs to be attacking here. Here, he's getting his old guard up onto the hill. And this is kind of... So I guess earlier I was saying have a plan. But the opposite of that is be ready to deviate from your plan. Like right here, a foot versus an old guard... Oh, and the old guard's tired because he was running around this way. Probably what he did is he selected them all and did this, and the old guard path found that way. But what he needed to probably do is just get in these woods to fight out my foot with his old guard. And see, these guys are way back there. If they were here, he could have them help. I don't know, and the Brave, they're way back there. What are they doing? That's not helpful. And that's actually going to be super relevant momentarily. You know, spoiler alert. But hey, he's got decent micro. He retreats back his cav here. In this case, I'm like, okay. I'll move up my lights a little bit. A lot of them are tired. But they're going to hold out this forest pretty well. And one thing you're going to see here is it's going to be like lights versus lights. The lions aren't shooting. Oh, and here. Okay, so see, and I think this is why he doesn't really advance. He's thinking, heh, I can just pick him off with my lights, right? And just skirmish without getting fired back. And that's okay, I guess. But, like, that's not actually what you want to be doing here. You have such an overwhelming numbers advantage that you want to be pushing. Now these guys in place, it's less overwhelming. Still, doesn't matter. You want to do it. Okay, concentrate your forces. Push up, attack. Here, I'm kind of content to keep the heavy fighting in the middle. That's where I have my advantage. You need to be active and make a play somewhere. You know, and here I'm like, okay, you wanted to sit there and you want to, oh, well, I just retreat my guys down to here where they'll, you know, be behind the hill. I know that I don't want to move up to engage the Volts because he's got these Swiss foot, 3 Swiss foot ready to help. I'm happy to stay here. I shoot his lights. You know, he, I believe, shoots my lights. Did he turn fire at will off on them? I don't see them firing back. These guys, they're way too far back. You know, that building isn't super useful, and I guess he recognizes that there. And here, okay, so see what happened is he pathed around this way. So what's gonna happen here? And these guys are, this was gonna, well, I'll show you rather than tell. And here I'm kind of moving up to just to kind of keep him a little bit like, you know, be like, hey, I'm here. So yeah, he manages to get some shots off on my light dragoons with his old guard. And here he does something pretty good. He's using this to support his fight in the woods. And here, though, my thought is, okay, get up on his old guard's flank. Like, and he's moving forward to really get good shots, but my objective here is just to take out his old guard. So charge my light dragoons. They're a pretty inexpensive unit. And here I'm like, okay, get up on his flank. Here, it would have been better to be up here earlier. You can see, like, they're not even getting a single kill on his old guard. But they are forcing him to be in square, sit still. I try to run my light dragoons away. But being near the old guard is just too much, and they run away anyway. And here you see, like, these brave that were way back here are finally getting close, but they're walking. So I'm gonna run these foot to try to prevent him from counter-flanking my flanking troops. Oh look, these chasseurs of Cheval, they're still way back here. Here, just kind of given a, you know, why these woods are so helpful. You know, this one guy is doing a pretty good job. He's actually beating these Swiss foot. What he probably needs to do is have one of them just get like this, have his lights and two of his line fight me here, have his cav charge here or here. But he's not really, he's just sitting back. So anyway, I'm gonna kind of show you how this works out. He's in square, and like, in some ways that does mean he gets to shoot back at these guys when he wouldn't. But in the end, I think it's, so he unsquares, you know, it forced him to be passive with his unit. And I'm like, okay, you're breaking your square. Well, I'm shooting you in the flank here, and I'm doing another charge with my cav. Force you into square, run them away, keep your units more bunched up, keep you from being able to redeploy that unit. And by this point, even if he were to start running with his braves, now my guys are pretty close too. Here, I'm continuing just to get kind of free shots on his flank. I've only lost one of these foot. This is a great firefight for me. Here, so now he's routing because he's, you know, really hurt. And even if he weren't, I was already getting ready to charge him, just because of him being so low. And that old guard was basically wasted. So here, I'm like, okay, retarget, charge the line that he's turned around. But now he's got a new problem. Okay, he's turned this line around to fight this line. Okay, but that means these volts aren't really protected. So I'm getting these dragoons around here, so I know they won't charge through here and going up there. And see, this is the problem with not concentrating your forces. Suddenly, like, I was already winning, you know, 20 units to, like, 18 to start. But he's got, like, 4 of those units, 5 of these units here, really, that aren't doing what they need to be doing. He's got, I'm fighting 5 on 1, even though, really, this should be a, what? 5, like, 8 on, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... I mean, 6 is gonna, like, okay, I guess not quite 5 on 1, because these two are fighting 2. But the point is, like, this is a much better ratio than it should be. He should be moving into this part of the woods that I failed to secure, right? And, you know, maybe forming a line, should have formed a line here. This unit of the Brave isn't helping very much. You know? Use the choke points and allow himself, you know. So what, if I were him, you know, let's flip the board, right? What I would do is form a line. Sorry about that dog bark. Form a line here just to hold off my units. With, you know, his, say, his Polish Legion and his Brave. Have his Old Guard, put these units on here, have his Old Guard get down here, have his Cav charge in there, charge in, you know, maybe even this up front, get up on here, charge in this way, you know, force these units into square, make an assault here, or, you know, make his assault on this side like I was talking about earlier, where he has a pretty good numbers advantage. But instead, my Cav is able to get, you know, he's not forming a cohesive front. Now this Brave, you know, that's a pricey unit. They're all on their own. And they're in the open, you know, they have no cover, whereas these foot units have cover. I've got a foot here that I can get in. This Polish Legion, he didn't manage to form square, and I just got in on him. And now I'm, you know... Okay, now he's making an advance here. But that's okay. What he needs to do, see, these Grenadiers of Cheval, they're an incredibly expensive unit. He needs to be charging them at these foot. You know, he's doing 3 versus 1, which is good, but, you know, let's take a look. Like, these guys don't have the best shots at them, and these woods are already providing cover. I mean, if they're all in position, they're going to get okay shots. Meanwhile, after routing all these guys, I've just decided I'm going to make sure the old guard don't come back. I think they did manage to rally, so I just before my horses got to them, but by then it was too late. He's gonna charge my cav, which is fine by me. No, he did try to bring the guys from the building in. Oh look, he actually had two. He had a cav hidden here too. So yeah, he is charging this unit, but like, he's not gonna capitalize on it too much. Like honestly, what he probably wants to do. Let's take a look at the ground level. I think they have some shots, but he really would want to do is have one of these infantry be like right here. You know? Especially up here, I don't think... Okay, no, up here is actually fine for about half of the unit, but half of it is hidden by the hill. So you're going to have a lot of shots hitting dirt. And he's charging the square. But like... And that's actually good on him. He needs to retreat his cav now. I think he does. And like now he's made a pretty good progress there, right? So what he needs to do is keep his cav threatening, you know, maybe be... And here I'm just pulling back, protecting the flank. Oh, I missed it, but I had these two engage his brave and charge my heavy cav, my dragoons in. Meanwhile, here, I'm retreating my dragoons to my Black Watch, who are still healthy. You know? And here, he's, you know... This is going to work for him pretty well, long run, if he keeps making this fight his fight. I'm losing, but these guys aren't really doing much. I guess he's worried about these units. Okay, now I form line again. Now this is where he needs to be ready, like... I'm forming line, and I'm retreating. He's got these cav. He needs to get in there again. You know, make me form another square. And also, see how he responds to this. Sends these two guys to pursue, which is good. But what he also does is he uses this Swiss foot to attack my 2 foot. That's bad. What he needs to do is just get in these woods here, do a counter, you know, fire line on line, and charge these lancers and keep this guy back here a bit. So here, he's actually moved into the woods a little bit, and what I'm doing is I'm bringing my Black Watch to shoot at his old guard. Okay. And I'm trying to get some guys here ready to make an assault down here. And I'm gonna go ahead and have these light dragoons, which I managed to recover, charge his old guard. You know, either he forms square, which is okay, or in this case he doesn't, which is great. You know, keep the old guard's guns down. And yeah, he's just occupying this building again. That's keeping... And okay, my light cav run there. But they did damage to his old guard, and now he's trying to reform, not taking any shots while he does so. But here, yeah, he's getting into the woods. These cav need to be getting in there too to charge this. And these guys are isolated. They need to... Honestly, they probably just need to join back up here. They need to be doing something like this. You know, work with this line. But instead, he's engaged these 2 foot units that he's not going to be able to win that on his own. Oh, and here, my heavy cav are charging his old guard, who's forming square. One of my lights has used up all its ammo. When your lights use all their ammo, like, you know you've got your money's worth. And here, you know, his old guard are in square. They're fighting my Black Watch, who are pretty healthy. I think my KGL is back here somewhere, still pretty good. Yeah, there they are. They're still pretty healthy. I'm getting them to get involved with this fight. And here you can see, like, if he would have kept his unit here or something, like, I wouldn't be quite able to do this. Instead, he's just lost it. Meanwhile, his Grenadiers of Cheval are completely unused. His Lancers are sitting back. They made 1 charge. And now I'm wrapping around his flank. And at this point, I mean, honestly, the game is over. Like, he started off with a unit deficit, and then he just kind of fought these little piecemeal battles. Didn't really use the terrain choke points. And here, like, I can kind of just keep going. I do a charge on his old guard because they're not going to be able to form square. He charges my wrapping unit, but I form square. And, I mean, that's, you know, I can kind of go on high speed for the rest of the battle, because here, just a matter of, okay, routed his old guard, retreat, yada yada, routed his cat. Oh, look who's still way back here. Those chasseurs de cheval, they're finally moving. Gonna try to just do a surprise flank charge, but I see it, you know, form square. I go ahead and have these cav while they're engaged with my square. I have my heavy cav just charge them, route them. My heavy cav routes too. That's okay.
Our men are running, sir.
Here, you know, now he's retreat. I have my depleted ammunition guys just charge in here, just to, you know, keep him occupied while my good he tries to. Yeah, it's an unsupported cav charge there, doesn't work. Nothing really interesting. You know, at this point he retreats into this building, tries to disengage that square, goes in there. So at this point, like, he's like, okay, I'm gonna hold the buildings, which means I can especially concentrate my forces where he doesn't, because, you know, their buildings make you static. You know, so I just get in there. Yeah, run into the building with your bayonets. You know, he's got a bunch of lights in here that are not gonna do a great job at resisting an actual foot unit. This is a cool shot though. You know, here his cav can't get in buildings. So here I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna kind of do this methodically. Get in there. These guys are just sitting here taking shots because they're in loose formation anyway. But like my guys are making their push into the building. You know, not much interesting going on. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Oh, now they're trying to run through. Are they trying to? No, they're not routing. They're just trying to fight. But my guys are. Oh, there's a dead one. Yeah, these buildings. Oh, going up the ladder now. Yep, but he's an actual foot unit. He's gonna. Oh man, that guy's a beast. Just killed 2 guys and scared off a 3rd all on his own. And there's the Polish that are just hanging out. But yeah, by then I've got the win. And at that point I'm like, okay. You know, basically I start worrying he's gonna be one of those guys that tries to run out the clock. So I'm like, I'm not gonna let that happen. And I just, you know, make a perimeter around where his units are. He can't run past this hill. I don't know if he knew that or if he was just actually trying to make a stand. But here I'm like, okay, I'll surround him. He does a rally, which kind of indicates making a stand. And these foot are actually out of ammo. Oh, and they're hidden until, you know. He did try to sneak around here. They're out of ammo, so, but these guys aren't. So I do some shots on him. See, he's gonna escape, so I have my cav try to chase. His gen does a brave charge at my light foot, who are running toward the building. Man, they're both wearing red uniforms. It's gotta be confusing. But that's the game. So in review, how have a plan and concentrate your units. He had a bunch of guys that just never really got involved until it was too late, you know? And now here's his general making a brave last stand as the final unit in play until he's killed. And at that point, that's the game. But you can see, like, I had like 300 more troops than him to begin with. But much bigger disparity is in the losses, because I kept, you know, I pushed where I was strong. I made myself strong somewhere. And I retreated where he had the advantage. But I didn't really need to, because he wasn't even really pushing there. But still, you know, good game. It was a fun one. Hope to see you on the field again someday.